Sup, Slowpokes? It is Mentally Slowbro here, Pokemon Master, bringing you some news and my personal opinions and some of my predictions for the new Pokemon X and Y series. E3 just finished recently, and Nintendo brought some very big news about Pokemon X and Y. And I'm going to be going over some of the older stuff and some of the newer stuff here, because I've just had a bunch of things that I want to say. So, we're going to hit it right off the bat here. If you don't know what Pokemon X and Y is, it's the next Pokemon game coming to all the countries at the same time, the same release date. Japan is not getting it first this time, which I like. And the way they're doing this is they're putting all the languages on one card. X and Y is going to be for the 3DS. It's a new 3D platform that they're doing, and it looks really good so far. Some of the things about X and Y I wanted to mention were some of the new things that they announced at E3 specifically. They've announced a bunch of new Pokemon at E3 and a bunch altogether, and I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm going over the E3 ones, but I do want to go over the starters. The starters, I don't care how they turn out in evolutions or whatever, because we're going to figure it out eventually. And whatever they choose to do, that is their choice. You do not need to own the game, so you do not need to complain about what they choose to do in their product. So right off the bat, I'm tired of people complaining like, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that, it'll mess it up. I don't like that. Now the starters, I will be very disappointed if there is another firefighting starter, but that will not ruin the game for me like it seems like it's going to do for everybody else. I do not want Fennekin to turn out to be a fire psychic either, because that gives Victini, that's the only thing Victini has, and that takes it from him. So if it's fire psychic, I will be disappointed in that too, much more so than if it's another firefighting. Now, I would really like it if the three starters, Froakie, Chespin, and Fennekin, just stayed single fire, water, grass throughout the entire game. You know, like we have had before. Not really, we've really never had all of them do that, have we? I want them to all stay the same. But if they do, I really hope Froakie comes out to be water fighting. Because, you know, Poliwrath needs someone to buddy up with about that. And Froakie is definitely the one I'm getting. A little water frog. Now, some of the other stuff I was going to talk about. I really want to talk about some of the new stuff here. And they've mentioned some Pokemon designs that I'm not thrilled about. But I like them. I have taught myself to love everything Nintendo does, because that's what a true fan of Pokemon will do, is they will accept anything that's new. One of the big things that people are having a hard time accepting about X and Y is they are making a new type. I am hyped about this. I am super excited about it. One of the reasons I'm excited, the new type, we have not done this in 14 years, which is actually how old I am. We have not done this since second generation. They have needed to do this. They need to balance out that overpowered dragon type, a dragon type that I do not like, because it's too strong, and there's only two things you can do to fight against it. You can take ice, or you can take another dragon, which is weak against ice. But now they've added this new fairy type. I am ecstatic about fairy type. I am happy about fairy type. I love it. I like the ideas of it, that it is super effective against dragon. People have been complaining. They've been saying, oh, fairy, why choose fairy? It's stupid. Fairy, it's the only logical thing to be strong against dragon, really. Like, they're not going to bring in Skyrim type, are they? No, they're not. So they had to choose something mystical that all of these different countries know about. All of the countries in the world need to know about this. So it can't just be one thing that's only going to make sense to one country. They're doing it fairy. They're mystical dragons. They're mystical. All the countries know about, at least a little bit about fairies and dragons. So, one of them's good. Fairies, they tend to be good. The other one's bad. Dragons, they tend to be bad. Not all the time, but most of the time they're bad. Now, with these new types, there's going to be major changes. Like, some of the old Pokemon are going to be changed. And I'm accepting all of the ones that they've said so far. Gardevoir is a little strange to me, considering it's one of the most basic, everybody knows about it Pokemon. It's going to be weird. Gardevoir is one of my favorite psychic types. It's going to be weird using that big change. But things like Jigglypuff, Clefairy, Marill, I don't understand that one, but Marill's a fairy type too, part fairy. These are all Pokemon that need a boost to them. No one really likes using Jigglypuff. No one really prefers to use Marill, like, competitively, because they're not the strongest. Now, giving them fairy type, which makes them strong against dragon, that gives them more use. More use. And that is what everyone's been looking for. More use to these Pokemon that people say are useless, weak, unnecessary. They are all necessary. And fairy type, by far, necessary. Another major thing I want to get at. Now, this is a prediction of mine. One of the predictions I mentioned earlier. There are 2 new Pokemon that were actually live demonstrated battled at E3. Clauncher and Skrelp. One of them, Skrelp, is a seaweed, toxic, basically Pearl Harbor thing. Oh, no, not Pearl Harbor. That is bad. I didn't mean to mention that. Crap. It's a BP kind of thing. You know, BP, oil spill. It reminds me of that. Like, what would happen? It's poison water, which is a typing we've had before, but, you know, it's something I like. And then Clauncher. It's a little pistol shrimp. That's all it is. It's a pistol shrimp. It's water type, and it is blue. It knows, so far we know it knows crab hammer, which is okay, I guess. It's a pistol shrimp, not really crab, but it's crustacean, whatever. I believe, and I've not heard anybody say this, and I believe a bunch of people are going to agree with me, these seem like the game exclusive Pokemon, like we've had before with, you know, Oddish and Bellsprout. The ones that are exclusive to one of the 2 games. It just seems like that to me. Now, to go further into that prediction, if this is true, I believe Clauncher is going to be exclusive to Pokemon X. And Skrelp is going to be exclusive to Pokemon Y. Why? Because Skrelp looks darker and more evil and, like, boyish. And, you know, Pokemon Y is set to appeal to the boys more than the girls, as to Pokemon X. It's supposed to be prettier and more, you know, appeal to the girls more. You know, that's where Clauncher comes in. He looks nicer. But, Skrelp, I believe he would be exclusive to Pokemon Y over X. That leads me into another thing. I believe Pokemon X and Y is loosely based off the 3D graphics and more based off chromosomes, genetics. If you go to the Japanese name of Pokemon X and Y, they've got the little DNA symbols and a bunch of stuff about that. And Pokemon X, clearly, girl chromosomes are the X. They've got 2 X chromosomes. And boys have 1 X chromosome and 1 Y chromosome. And Pokemon Y is redder, darker, has the boyish-er looking legendary, while X looks more pretty and serene and everything. And I'm not being, like, sexist or anything. I'm being like, this is what it looks like to me. And you've got the DNA things in it, and they clearly based one more towards boys than towards girls, and everything, blah, 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 blah. I feel that that's what it's based off more, especially since when you choose your trainer, when you make your trainer, if it's a boy, your rival is a girl. If it's a girl, your rival's a boy. That's never happened before. That has not happened in Pokemon before. Your rival's usually just been a straight person. You can go to 3rd gen and look at it that way, kind of like that. That's happened in Pokemon. You know, your rival being the opposite gender. But, you know, it's never been like this. It's different now. Considering they haven't done it in forever. I'm gonna get bit for that. Now, I feel that this is great. That if it's based off this, then they did that perfectly, wonderfully, because it also is disguised a little bit behind the 3 dimensions. And I would not be at all surprised if the third part of the franchise would end up being Z to make the 3-dimensional graph. But then again, it also looks like the boy and girl based set. Now, on to some of the other Pokemon. They've Noivern. This is another prediction of mine. Noivern is this big bat dragon. It is half dragon, half flying, I believe. And it's all based off sound. It's got speakers on its head. It knows the move Boom Blast. You know, clearly based off sound. And it looks like a bat. And it acts like a bat. In its description, it says it uses the sound waves to get around like bats tend to do. What I like about this, and I've not heard anybody say this either, it looks like an evolution. It looks a lot like a third evolution, to be honest here. Like I've not heard anybody else say this. It's either a third evolution or a standalone Pokemon. That's what I feel it's going to be. This is a prediction. It is. I think it's going to be a third evolution to a Pokemon that we've had before. Or, if not, then it's maybe to the new annoying bat we find in the cave in the beginning of the game. That everyone's excited about, right? No. I feel it might be a third evolution to Woobat and Swoobat. I don't know why I feel this way. It just looks like it. You know, they are loosely based off sound, I would say. Like, look at them. He's blind as a... Woobat is blind as a bat. Really. It needs the sound to get around. But, if not, it could be the third evolution to the new annoying bat. Yay! I love Zubat, to be honest here. Zubat's one of my favorite Pokemon. I'm going to be hated on for that. But it's true. On to some of the other new Pokemon they revealed, with some core scans later actually being confirmed on the Nintendo website. They've got Leo, which is this little, that's its American name, I can't remember its Japanese name. It's a fire normal type lion cub. And it knows this new move called Noble Roar, or in Japan it's going to be known as War Cry, I do remember that. It is like Roar, the move Roar and Growl, where it lowers their attack. But it lowers their special attack as well. So this might be a little more towards competitive battlers. And if it's not, then, you know, it's not. But it looks like it would be very helpful for the beginning of the game. And maybe a little bit towards the end of the game with your OP people that rely on special attack. It can get them out as well. I don't know what else to say about him. They've got Furabebe, which I think this is going to be my new favorite Pokemon of all time. It's a pure fairy type. And it's a small fairy. It is the smallest, lightest Pokemon of all. It's less than a foot tall. It's like 4 inches tall. And it's like half a pound, I believe. A quarter pound? I don't remember. It is the smallest Pokemon, but what I like about it, it's like another Spinda. Its sprites can be different. Because you can find them... Okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. They attach to a flower. Like, they find a flower at birth, and they live with that flower forever. They never leave it. Now, this is like a Spinda thing. You can find wild ones with different flowers. And I am way too excited about this, but I am thrilled. I am happy. I am ecstatic. I am hard to see, but I am really, really happy about this. It's like another Spinda, and I love Spinda. If I could choose any Pokemon as a starter ever, it would probably be this little guy here. But I love this idea so much. They've released their bug. You know, their little Caterpie kind of thing. And they released all 3 evolutions. Scatterbug. I don't remember. Spupa, the second form. And then the third form, I can't pronounce the name. It's like Viavila. It's a very... The third form, something that, again, no one's said this before, or well, at least this is my prediction here. On the website, it says that it has a secret in its wings. And I've heard people say that, but I've not heard this prediction. Like, in their wings, I think the secret is they've got the colors for both the X and Y games. So maybe the secret is the third color in the wings is what the color for the third game is going to be. This is a very weak prediction of mine, but, you know, the games haven't come out yet, so cut me some slack here. I feel that I love the design of this Pokemon. It is beautiful, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. By the way, I will put a link to this in the description of the Pokemon X and Y stuff. I might need a couple of links to get all the pictures of all the Pokemon, but I will put that in the description at some point. Probably not immediately, but it will go there. I think this Pokemon is absolutely beautiful to look at, and it's probably going to be really weak, but I love the design of Pokemon and how they look, and this is just beautiful. Like, Beautifly, eat your heart out. I love the design of this. The new region is based off France, and the reason, which was actually revealed at the E3 convention, is that it's more beautiful, and they wanted to focus on the beauty of the game, and France is known for its beauty. I'm sorry if the lighting is all messed up, guys. My room doesn't get the best lighting. Yeah. Now, I love how they're going graphically with this game. It looks beautiful. It looks great. There are a couple more things I'm going to touch base on before I end this video. It might be short, it might not be. One of the other things that I'm going to touch base on here is they announced 2 new types of battles, which are Horde encounters, which I'm looking forward to this as well. We can counter at least 5 wild Pokemon at the same time against one of yours. You don't throw out 5 of yours, you throw out 1. And the more you take down in one turn, you'll get bonus experience for it. I'm loving this idea. It'll keep the wild encounters less annoying and A button pressy. You actually have to think about it, because you want to destroy more than one at once, because, you know, you'll get more EXP. That's great experience. You get more of it. It takes rid of that press A over and over and over and over and over again whenever you go into a wild battle that I've seemed to know a lot. And another thing they also have a new type of battle called a Sky Battle, and these only Pokemon with the ability to levitate or fly, or can fly, can go into these battles, and they're literally like in the air, like you've seen in the show with Skyla did these, I believe. I love this. It looks beautiful. They actually use the move Brave Bird in the demonstration of these battles. It looks great, amazing. I'm loving this. The look of this game looks amazing. It just looks good, and it takes a new aspect to the meta game. More like you can't use ground types in this. Now, these are optional battles. You do not need to have them ever, because you might not even be getting a Pokemon that's eligible for them at all costs and all times and blah blah blah. I am liking the idea of these, and I think I had to check the time on the video, see how long it was going. I think that they're going to turn out really well for the people that like them, and, you know, for the people that hate the rotation battles. Not me, I like rotation battles. You know, this is actually going to be appealing to them as well. Other things I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, I really wanted to mention the new feature, Pokemon-a-Me. This is a mixture of Nintendogs and Pokemon. And I feel there's only been one person that I know or have ever seen on the internet talking about this that has liked it and has looked forward to it. That is Tamashi Haruka. She's a Pokemon person on YouTube. You should check out her channel, which is also Tamashi Haruka, I think. I am subscribed to her. I love her videos. She is excited about this as well. And I am extremely excited. A lot of people think it's going to be like the musicals, which I also liked. I love everything about all the Pokemon games. I love it all. It's amazing. Pokemon has no flaws ever. I am really looking forward to this game. But Pokemon-a-Me, it's Nintendogs and Pokemon. You can pet your Pokemon, you can feed them, and you can... raises their happiness, which would make Pokemon like Umbreon, Espeon, and Togetic easier to get,